Item: SCP-1851. Code name: Dollhouse. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures: only D-Class level personnel are permitted to enter the building containing SCP-1851. 6 to 10 armed guards are to be stationed around the perimeter of the building containing SCP-1851. A 2-meter-tall chain-link fence is to surround the 200-square-meter property. Unauthorized individuals entering the property are to be ordered to leave. Individuals are to be administered Class C amnestics if non-compliant and deposited in medical center. To prevent SCP-1851 from actively obtaining subjects, a rabbit is to be released into the building every 3 days. Discarded instances of SCP-1851-1 are to be stored in site until further notice. Description: SCP-1851 is a doll that resembles a 1.57-meter-tall female Caucasian with brown hair and blue eyes. SCP-1851 resides within a Building 1, located near. SCP-1851 is observed using a remotely controlled rover. SCP-1851 moves throughout the containment site, occasionally performing maintenance on the interior and exterior of the building and grounds. The maintenance SCP-1851 provides includes tending the garden, repairing the walls of the building, and cleaning the floors. Personnel on site have reported that SCP-1851 notices the presence of individuals, but does not actively attempt to communicate. SCP-1851 remains docile until any live member of Mammalia or Aves enters the building, or for approximately 3 days after conversion of SCP-1851-1. If the subject does not meet the requirements for SCP-1851, the exact requirements have yet to be determined. 2. The subject will be killed and discarded upon entering the premises. SCP-1851 will then transport the animal referred to as SCP-1851-1 within the confines of the building, at which point the subject will undergo systematic conversion, changing it into a rudimentary doll. The initial stage of the conversion is the shrinking of the subject, ending when the subject shrinks to 1/10 of its size. The subject's internal mass becomes either a hollow cavity or cotton. Based on analysis of discarded SCP-1851-1, the subject's skin is converted into porcelain or plastic if made hollow, or cloth if filled with cotton. After evaluating SCP-1851-1, SCP-1851 will either store the object in a toy box in the nursery or discard it. Attempts to retrieve instances of SCP-1851-1 that have not been discarded have resulted in the destruction of 2 rovers and 3 drones. Retrieval of discarded instances have yielded no reaction from SCP-1851. After the process is completed, SCP-1851 returns to its typical behavior. If SCP-1851 does not have any interactions with a new instance of SCP-1851-1 for approximately 7 days, it will actively seek organisms for the conversion process. Addendum 1. The Foundation was first alerted of SCP-1851 by reports of people being forcefully removed out of their homes and disappearing near the town of. Mobile Task Force 53 aka Collectors, was sent to the house to determine the cause of the disappearances. Addendum 1851-2. On the 7th of June 2020, researchers noticed a sharp increase in stockpiling behavior and doll production from SCP-1851, followed by a complete cessation of activity on the 7th of August 2020. On the 7th of September 2020, audio devices placed within the building recorded sounds resembling human singing. Due to the docile state in which SCP-1851 was in, Clearance was given for researcher Julia to enter the building, with accompaniment from Security Officer Dwight, for purposes of documentation. Upon entering, researcher Julia found SCP-1851 moving around the home's kitchen, apparently docile. SCP-1851 was approached, and attempts at communication were made. Enclosed are the results of researcher Julia's attempt. Record of SCP-1851 interaction. Date: the 7th of October 2020. Interviewer: researcher Julia. Interviewed: SCP-1851. Begin log. Researcher Julia: can you understand me? SCP-1851. Oh, of course. I've been taught English very well. Researcher Julia: can you tell me what you're doing in this house? SCP-1851. Well, lately I've just been keeping it tidy in anticipation of my family's return. Father loves coming home to a clean house. Researcher Julia: I see. What can you tell me about your family? SCP-1851. Oh, they are very nice people. I am sure they would love to meet you. Mother loves having guests, and their daughter is very polite. Researcher Julia: why have you been singing? SCP-1851. Because a special day is very near, and I am trying to create a nice atmosphere. Researcher Julia: special day? SCP-1851. Oh yes. The young mistress' birthday is only a few days away. Such a happy occasion. Researcher Julia: I see. SCP-1851. I do hope she will return soon. I have worked very hard on her gifts. Researcher Julia: gifts? You mean the dolls? SCP-1851. Yes. She is very fond of dolls, you see. Researcher Julia: can you tell me how old she will be? SCP-1851. Well, this is a celebration of her 9th birthday. It is long overdue, and I have no intentions of celebrating later birthdays until she has celebrated this one. I've been trying to gather ingredients to bake her something, but I'm afraid it has been a while since Mother has gone for groceries. Researcher Julia: when was the last time you saw your family? SCP-1851. It has been a very long time. I am afraid I cannot remember exactly. Researcher Julia: is it possible that they won't return? SCP-1851. Of course not. When I was assigned to this family, it was with the express promise that it was a temporary position. My family will return soon enough. Until then, I will continue in my duties. Researcher Julia: what exactly do your duties entail? SCP-1851. Subject becomes agitated. I think you should leave. I'll not have you upsetting the young mistress when she arrives. End log. SCP-1851 ceased interaction at this time, and turned away from Researcher Julia. Before leaving, Researcher Julia noticed an inscription on SCP-1851's back. A note was made of this, and surveillance within the house was later able to get a clear image of it. SCP-1851 returned to normal behavioral patterns one day later. Inscribed on the back of SCP-1851. To my beloved daughter, I know I can't be there for you, and I am sorry. I wish I could. I hope this will help. Footnotes. 1. The building containing SCP-1851 is a Victorian-era styled house that has noticeable external weathering. The interior is distinctly more well kept. 2. SCP-1851 has shown noted preference to all members of the biological order Aves, and the following mammalian families: Canidae, Ursidae, Felidae, and Hominidae.